This will be an eye-opener for a lot of you intermediate players. In this quick tip lead guitar lesson, we're not going to be looking at triads today, and we're also not going to be looking at arpeggios. We will just add one note from each one of these chords to the A minor pentatonic scale. We can easily create an awesome solo doing that. So grab your guitar and let's get into it. To be a good lead guitar player, you definitely need to be a good rhythm player also. Let's take a look at these chords. We're going to use an A bar chord here. In the 5th fret, the bar right here. D, also a partial bar in the 5th fret. And an E chord, moving up to the 7th fret with that bar. Common chords that we use all the time. I will leave a link for this great backing track, but the rhythm is really just sliding up to the root note of each chord. So just taking that A chord, 3 to 5, sliding up, striking the chord, and do that with all 3 chords. 3 to 5 here on the A string, and then the same with the E, 5 to 7. So the scale we know and love, A minor pentatonic in the 5th fret. So moving forward, mixing the scales together, the major and minor pentatonic, so many of our guitar heroes do it. They do it in different ways. This is a really easy way to get going and be confident with this. So the A chord, there's one note in the A chord that's not in the A minor pentatonic. Check this out. It's the C sharp note. Right in the middle of that bar chord is that C sharp note in the 6th fret of the G string. And it's also here in the 4th fret of the A string. And I'm going to show you really shortly why this is useful. So also with the D chord, there's one note that's not in the minor pentatonic, and that is the F sharp note. 7th fret of the B string, but it's also in the 4th fret of the D string. And then with the E chord, there is one note that we want to add, and it's the 5th degree of this scale is a B note. So the 7th fret of the E string, there's a B, and the 4th fret of the G. You get used to locating these. It's so important. We don't need to get complicated with intervals, triads, arpeggios. Just look at adding this simple note to the minor pentatonic scale. And we can do it one chord at a time. So a great way to practice this concept is to walk up to those notes. Hammer on to the major third of the A, which would, in this case, would be from 5 to 6 on the G string. Just hammering on with that 2nd finger. And then walk back down the pentatonic scale. Right there, the 4th fret there is that C sharp note again. You can hear the chord in there, but it really sounds bluesy. So as I'm showing you these notes that we're adding, I'm going to show you a great way to put it in context with this demo solo coming up. But we'll take the D chord. As it goes to D, we want to target the F sharp note, which is in this case we're using the F sharp here in the 7th fret of the B string, or the 4th fret there of the D string is an F sharp. So a great way to use this is to hammer on and go to the root note, which is on the 7th fret of the G string, is a D note, or back down to it from 8 to 7. You can hear the chord in there. So as it goes to the E chord, we're going to focus on this B note, which is in the 7th fret of the E string, striking up to it, just a full bend and release it back to this root note here in the 5th fret of the B string. You can also, as it goes back to the A, hit the B note here in the 4th fret of the G string, half bend, go back to the B, and then land on the A. Really bluesy thing to do. So you have a little set of notes for each chord. Now let's put them all in context. So we want to focus on the root note of each chord, but also that major third. A note here. As we start a solo, we can easily start in the center of the minor pentatonic scale. 7th fret of the D string is an A. And I like to just hammer from the G note to the A. And we can hammer on that major third. And then walk down to the major third. 7, 5, 4 on the A string, down to the C sharp note here. You can hear the sound. Sounds great over that, sounds bluesy. So as it came up to the D chord, just walking down to that F sharp note, 4th fret of the D string, from 5 to 4, and then again from 8 to 7 on the B string, and then you're landing on that F sharp note again. You can do that little half bend too. And then back to A. 5, 7, 5, slight bend, back to the root note. And a great way to treat the E chord is using this little major box. Your pentatonic's right here. Minor pentatonic. Major is just that 1 fret down with this little box here. So 5, 7, half bend, back to the root note in the 5th fret of it's an E note. Then we're going back to the A chord. Use that hammer on. You can use it often. All these connect, and I'll leave a link for this backing track, but you can do this practice with just hitting the chord. And hit each chord. and then a little turnaround as it's going back to A, we can use this minor pentatonic and walk down that major note. So full bend in the 8th fret to the A note, hitting the A note, walking down 8, 7, 5, 7, 5, and hammering onto that major third in the 6th fret. And back to the root note in the 7th fret. Have some fun with this. This is a simple way to mix the major and minor pentatonic scales together, which almost every guitar hero we know does this in all different ways, but this will get you going in that direction. The minor pentatonic sounds great, but when you add those few major notes in there, it really comes alive. You can really say something a lot easier with those notes because the notes are in the chords you're using. Hope you got something out of this quick lesson. Let's talk soon.